Some people measure success by the money they display, others by the respect they earn in silence. But in this story, true value will be revealed in a way no one expected. Can you discover the keyword that defines everything? Comment your answer and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Karen was in the kitchen of her small apartment in Brookline, on the outskirts of Boston, preparing dinner for her children when the envelope arrived. An expensive envelope. Thick beige paper with embossed gold letters. She wiped her hands on her apron and opened it slowly. Marcus Thompson and Victoria Ashford have the pleasure of inviting you to celebrate their wedding. The Plaza Hotel, Manhattan, New York. Karen felt a tightness in her chest. 5 years. 5 years since the divorce. 5 years since Marcus left home, saying she didn't have enough ambition, and that he deserved someone at his level. Back then, she was an elementary school teacher. He was a frustrated salesman. But Marcus changed. He opened a tech company, got investors, and now he was marrying a model at the most luxurious hotel in New York. And he invited her, not out of kindness. Karen knew that. He wanted her to see. He wanted her to feel. He wanted everyone to see the poor ex-wife while he shined next to his new life. "Mum, what's this?" asked Emma, her 12-year-old daughter, picking up the invitation from the table. "It's an invitation from your father. Dad's getting married?" exclaimed Jake, her 9-year-old son, running to her. Karen took a deep breath. She could feel the hurt rising in her throat, but she swallowed it. The children loved their father, despite everything. "Yes, and he invited you too." "Can we go, Mum, please?" Emma asked, her eyes shining. Karen looked at both of them. Simple clothes, but clean. Old shoes, but well kept. They didn't ask for much. Never did. How could she say no? "We'll see, my loves, we'll see." That night, after the children fell asleep, Karen stayed awake in the living room, staring at the invitation. She knew exactly what Marcus expected, that she would arrive in modest clothes, maybe a borrowed dress, that the children would wear whatever they had that was best, which wasn't much, that everyone would look at her with pity, or worse, with contempt. But something burned inside Karen that night. It wasn't anger. It wasn't revenge. It was dignity. She picked up her phone and typed a short message. "Thank you for the invitation. We'll be there." And then, for the first time in 5 years, Karen smiled thinking about Marcus, because he had no idea what was coming. What do you think Karen is planning? Will she simply ignore the humiliation? Or is there something Marcus doesn't know? Write in the comments what you imagine will happen. And if you want to find out, don't leave. The next part will surprise you. The next morning, Emma and Jake woke up excited. "Mum, did you confirm? Are we really going?" asked Jake, jumping on her bed. Karen opened her eyes slowly. She had slept little, all night thinking. "Yes, my love, we're going." Emma hugged her mother tightly. "Thank you, Mum. I know it's not easy for you." Karen held her daughter's face in her hands. "Emma, listen, I want you to understand something. Life isn't measured by what others have. It's measured by what we are." Jake frowned. "But Dad has a big car now, and a huge house. He posted it on Instagram." Karen sighed. "And does that make him a better person?" Both fell silent. What makes someone great, my loves, isn't the size of their house. It's the size of their heart. Emma smiled, but Jake still looked confused. "So, are we taking the bus to New York?" Karen took a deep breath. "No, not this time." That afternoon, while the children were at school, Karen took the subway to downtown Boston. She entered a discreet building, went up to the 10th floor. Greenfield Publishing, Contracts Department. The receptionist smiled when she saw her. "Mrs. Hayes, what a surprise! Mr. Davidson will be delighted to know you're here." Karen nodded nervously. A few minutes later, a man in a suit entered the room with a wide smile. "Karen, what a pleasure. How long has it been? 6 months." "About that, Robert." He sat across from her. "So, are you finally going to tell me what you're doing with all that money? Because honestly, I've never seen an author so discreet." Karen gave a shy smile. "Saving it for my children's college." Robert shook his head, impressed. "Karen, you know The Lantern of Hope has sold over 2 million copies in 18 countries, right? You're one of the most successful children's authors of the last decade, and nobody knows. And I prefer it that way." "Why?" Karen looked out the window. "Because I didn't write to be famous. I wrote because I needed to teach my children that even in darkness there's always a light, and that light comes from within." Robert was silent for a moment. "You're amazing, Karen, but may I ask why you came today?" Karen took a deep breath. "I need a favor." 2 hours later, Karen left the building with a folder in her hands. Inside it, 3 first-class plane tickets, and the key to a private jet chartered for the weekend. She looked at the Boston sky, feeling the cold wind on her face. It wasn't about Marcus. It never was. It was about showing her children that dignity cannot be bought. It's built, and that those who work in silence shine at the right time. The days leading up to the wedding were strange. Emma and Jake noticed their mother was different, calmer, more confident. "Mum, are you okay?" Emma asked one night while helping wash the dishes. Karen smiled. "I'm great, sweetheart. It's just, you don't seem nervous. I thought you'd be sad because of Dad." Karen stopped washing the plate and looked at Emma. "You know, Emma, I was sad for a long time, but I learned something. Pain only lasts as long as we let it, and I chose not to let it anymore." Emma hugged her mother around the waist. "I love you, Mum." "I love you too, my angel." On Thursday night, Karen went to a boutique on Newbury Street, one of Boston's most elegant streets. The saleswoman greeted her with a polite smile, but Karen noticed the look up and down. Her coat was old, her purse worn. "May I help you?" the woman asked with an almost condescending tone. "Yes, I need 3 outfits, for me and my 2 children, for a wedding in New York." The saleswoman raised an eyebrow. "I see. We have some more affordable options at the back of the store." Karen took a deep breath. It wasn't the first time she'd been treated this way. "Actually," she said, taking a credit card from her purse, "I'm looking for something special. No price limit." The saleswoman's face changed instantly. "Oh, of course, of course. Follow me, please." 2 hours later, Karen left the store with 3 bags. An elegant navy blue dress for her, an impeccable suit for Jake, a pink twirling dress for Emma. Nothing extravagant, nothing flashy, but each piece screamed class. That night, after the children fell asleep, Karen opened an old drawer in her room. Inside, there was a photo, her and Marcus, 10 years ago, sitting on the old couch of their first apartment, smiling. They were poor, but they were happy. Or at least Karen thought they were. Marcus always complained, always wanted more, always looked at others with envy. "One day, Karen, I'm going to have all that, and you'll see." "But we already have everything, Marcus. We have each other." He laughed, a bitter laugh. "That doesn't pay the bills." Karen put the photo back. He was right in a way. Love didn't pay bills. But it also didn't buy character, and that's what she was going to prove. On Friday morning, the day before the wedding, Karen received a message. "Marcus, just confirming. Are you guys really coming? Because if money for the ticket is a problem, I can help." Karen read the message 3 times. He was testing, provoking. She typed back, "Karen, thank you, Marcus, but everything's taken care of. See you tomorrow." On the other side, in his Manhattan office, Marcus read the response and smiled. Poor thing, he thought. She probably borrowed money. It's going to be embarrassing. He could barely wait. Saturday morning, wedding day. Karen woke up early. The sun came through the window of the small apartment, illuminating the already packed suitcases. Emma and Jake were still asleep. She watched them for a moment. Her little treasures. The reason for every choice she'd made in the last 5 years. She went to the kitchen and made coffee. While waiting for the water to boil, she opened her laptop. On the screen, the cover of a children's book, The Lantern of Hope. A simple drawing. A child holding a lantern in the darkness, lighting the way. Karen wrote that book on the nights she couldn't sleep. After the divorce. After the overdue bills. After the nights crying in the bathroom so the children wouldn't hear. She wrote about a girl who lost everything but found light within herself. And the whole world connected with that story. 2 million copies, 18 languages, 3 literary awards, and no one knew the author was her. She used a pseudonym, E.J. Winters. Not even the children knew. She saved every penny, every royalty. Every cent went to a locked savings account for Emma and Jake's college, because Karen didn't want them to grow up thinking money was the answer. She wanted them to grow up knowing that work, silence, and dignity were the answer. At 10 a.m., a black car stopped in front of the building. "Mum, what car is that?" asked Jake, looking out the window. "It's our transportation," Karen said calmly. "But it looks like a movie car." Emma looked at her mother, confused. "Mum, did you rent that?" Karen smiled. "Not exactly." The children exchanged looks, but didn't ask more. The driver, a middle-aged man named Gerald, carefully loaded the suitcases. "Mrs. Hayes, it's an honor. Your editor told me about the work you do. My grandchildren love your book." Karen blushed. "Thank you, Gerald. But please, this stays between us." He made a gesture of silence, smiling. The car took them to a small private airport on the outskirts of Boston. When Jake saw the private jet waiting on the runway, he froze. "Mum, we're going in that thing?" Emma's eyes widened. "Mum, what's going on?" Karen knelt in front of both of them. "My loves, I need you to understand something. During these 5 years, I worked very hard, in silence, and I achieved some things. But I never told you because I wanted you to learn to value what really matters." "But are you rich?" asked Jake, still processing. "I have enough." "But this was never about money, Jake. It was about dignity, about showing you that it doesn't matter what others think of you. What matters is who you choose to be." Emma had tears in her eyes. "You did all this alone?" Karen smiled, holding both their hands. "I did it for you. And today, when we arrive at that wedding, we're not going there to humiliate anyone. We're going there to show that a person's value is in their actions, not their possessions." Jake hugged his mother tightly. "You're the best mom in the world." Karen kissed his forehead. "And you're the best children in the world." At 11:30 a.m., the jet took off toward New York, and as the clouds passed by the window, Karen took a deep breath. Marcus had no idea what was coming. Have you figured out what the keyword of this story is? Is it about wealth or about something much greater? Comment what you think and stay until the end, because the best is yet to come. The Plaza Hotel, Manhattan, one of New York's most iconic places. Crystal chandeliers, Italian marble, red carpets. Marcus was in the ballroom, adjusting his tie for the 10th time. Victoria, his bride, was radiant beside him. Designer dress, expensive jewelry, everything perfect. "Are you nervous?" she asked, smiling. "No, just thinking." "About what?" Marcus hesitated. "My ex-wife is coming today, with the children." Victoria raised an eyebrow. "And why did you invite her?" Marcus gave a crooked smile. Let's just say I wanted her to see where I've gotten." Victoria laughed. "Ah, I see. A bit of elegant revenge. Something like that." But inside, Marcus was anxious. He checked his phone for the 20th time. No message from Karen. Did she give up? He thought. Did she realize it would be too humiliating? Part of him wanted her to come. Another part hoped she wouldn't show up, because deep down, Marcus knew Karen never did anything to deserve him leaving. He just wanted more, and she was never enough. Outside, a black limousine stopped in front of the hotel. The arriving guests looked curious. "Who could it be?" someone murmured. The door opened, and Jake stepped out first in his impeccable little suit. He looked up, impressed with the hotel. Emma came right after, beautiful in her pink dress, hair styled in an elegant updo. And then Karen. She descended slowly, navy blue dress that fell perfectly, discreet but expensive shoes, loose, wavy hair shining in the sun. She wasn't trying to impress. She simply was impressive. Some guests stopped talking. "Who is she?" "I don't know, but she looks like someone important." Karen held her children's hands and walked toward the entrance. The doorman opened the door with a smile. "Welcome to the plaza. Are you guests of the Thompson-Ashford wedding?" "Yes," Karen answered calmly. He checked the list. "Mrs. Karen Hayes and family. You may enter. The ballroom is on the right." Inside the ballroom, Marcus was talking to a friend when he saw movement at the door. He turned his head and froze. It was Karen, but it wasn't the Karen he expected. She wasn't embarrassed. She wasn't uncomfortable. She was serene. And the children, my God, the children looked like they stepped out of a magazine. Marcus felt his stomach turn. "How did she—" Victoria followed his gaze. "Is that her? Your ex?" Marcus couldn't answer. Karen walked through the ballroom. Some guests greeted her. She smiled politely, but her eyes searched for only one person. When she finally found Marcus, she walked up to him. "Marcus, congratulations on the wedding," she said with a firm voice. He swallowed hard. "Karen, thank you. You came. Of course, you invited us." Jake and Emma hugged their father. "Hi, Dad," said Jake, excited. "We came in a private jet." Marcus blinked. "What?" Emma smiled. "It's true. Mom chartered a jet for us." Victoria looked at Karen, surprised. "Wow, that's impressive." Karen just smiled. "It was a gift for the children. They deserve to see that the world is bigger than they imagine." Marcus was speechless. How? How did she manage this? She was a teacher. She earned little. She lived in a tiny apartment. Or didn't she? For the first time in 5 years, Marcus realized that maybe he didn't know Karen as well as he thought. You saw Marcus's look. He's starting to understand. Will he have the courage to ask, or will he pretend he doesn't care? Comment what you think will happen now, and stay until the end, because the real twist is still to come. The wedding proceeded as planned. The ceremony was elegant. The flowers, perfect. The music, impeccable. But Marcus couldn't pay attention to anything. His eyes kept returning to Karen. She was seated at the back of the ballroom, next to the children, calm, smiling, as if she belonged in that place. And the truth was, she did belong, more than he imagined. During dinner, Victoria noticed Marcus was distracted. "Are you okay?" she asked quietly. Yes, just thinking." "About her?" Marcus looked at Victoria, surprised. "It's not what you're thinking." "Then what is it?" He sighed. "It's just, I invited her expecting one thing, and she arrived being something completely different." Victoria frowned. "You invited her to humiliate her, didn't you?" Marcus was silent. Victoria shook her head. "Marcus, do you really think that makes you bigger? Diminishing someone you once loved?" He didn't answer, because deep down, He knew she was right. After dinner, Karen took the children to the hotel garden. They ran between the fountains laughing. Marcus appeared at the door, watching from afar. Karen noticed. She turned and waved for him to approach. He hesitated, but went. "Hi," he said awkwardly. "Hi, Marcus." They were silent for a moment, watching the children. "They've grown so much," Marcus said, his voice choked. "Yes, and they're amazing." Marcus took a deep breath. "Karen, I need to ask, how did you manage all this? The jet, the clothes. You're a teacher. I know how much you earn." Karen looked at him. "Do you really want to know?" "Yes," she sighed. 5 years ago, after you left, I wrote a book, a children's book, about a child who loses everything but finds light within herself. I published it under a pseudonym. And, well, it worked out." Marcus's eyes widened. "Worked out how?" 2 million copies, 18 languages, 3 literary awards." Marcus was speechless. You're rich." Karen gave a sad smile. "I have enough. But Marcus, I never wanted it to be about money. I saved everything for the children's college, so they'd have opportunities. And I continued living on my teacher's salary because I wanted them to learn that a person's value isn't in what they have, but in what they are." Marcus felt a lump in his throat. "So, why did you come, if you knew I invited you to humiliate you?" Karen looked at him. "Because I didn't come for you, Marcus. I came for our children, so they could see that it doesn't matter what someone tries to do to you. What matters is how you choose to respond." She took a step toward him. "You invited me expecting I'd feel small, but I'm not small. I never was. You just never noticed." Marcus lowered his head. "Karen, I'm sorry. I know you are, and I forgive you, not for you, but for me, because I won't carry resentment for the rest of my life." She smiled. "Be happy, Marcus, truly. But remember, real success isn't what you display. It's what you build when nobody's watching." And then Karen turned and went back to the children, leaving Marcus alone with his thoughts. Do you feel the weight of Karen's words? Marcus finally understood. But is it too late? Comment what you thought of this conversation, and continue until the end, because the most important message is still coming. The party continued until late. Music, dancing, laughter. But Marcus was distant. He watched Victoria laughing with friends, dancing, posing for photos. Everything was perfect. Everything was performative. And suddenly, he realized none of it was real. He married Victoria because she was beautiful, because she fit the image he wanted to project. But did he love her? He didn't even know what love was anymore. Near midnight, Karen gathered the children. "Let's go, my loves, it's late." "But, Mum, the party's not over yet," Jake protested. "I know, but tomorrow we have to go back home, and you have school on Monday." Emma hugged her father. "Bye, Dad. The wedding was beautiful." Jake hugged too. "Dad, will you visit us?" Marcus felt his eyes burn. "I will, son, I promise." Karen smiled politely. "Good night, Marcus, and congratulations again." But before she turned, Marcus held her arm. "Karen, wait." She looked at him. "What is it?" Marcus took a deep breath. I ruined everything, didn't I?" Karen sighed. "Marcus, you didn't ruin everything. You made choices, and choices have consequences. But you can also make new choices now. How? Be a good father. Be present. Not on Instagram, but for real. Because in the end, Marcus, it's not the car, or the house, or the money that will matter. It's what you left in people's hearts." Marcus nodded, emotional. "You were always better than me, Karen." Karen smiled. "No, I just chose to be true. And that's priceless." She kissed his forehead, as she would with a child. "Be happy, Marcus, and be real." And then she went with the children to the exit. On the way back to the jet, Emma asked, Mum, why was Dad sad? Karen thought for a moment. Because he realized he was chasing the wrong things. But he still has time to change. Do you think he'll change? Asked Jake. I hope so, my love, for him, not for me. Emma held her mother's hand. Mum, I want to be like you when I grow up. Karen smiled, her eyes watering. You're already amazing, Emma. Just keep being you. Back in the ballroom, Victoria found Marcus standing, staring into space. Where were you? Saying goodbye to my children. And to your ex? Marcus looked at Victoria. She's not my enemy, Victoria. I know, but you invited her to humiliate her. Marcus lowered his head. I know, and it was the worst thing I've done in my life. Victoria was silent. Do you still love her? Marcus thought. No, but I respect her, more than I've ever respected anyone in my life. Victoria nodded slowly. Then maybe we should learn from her. Marcus looked at his wife, surprised. You're right. And for the first time that night, he smiled genuinely. Do you see how Karen's real victory wasn't the money, but what she taught? Comment what the biggest lesson from this story was for you. And don't miss the last part, where everything comes together emotionally. 3 months later, Karen was in her classroom in Boston, grading tests. The children had left a short while ago. The silence of the school was comforting. Suddenly, her phone vibrated. A message from Marcus. Karen, thank you for everything. I'm trying to be a better father and a better person. The children deserve it, and you showed me that. I hope one day I can be half the human being you are. Karen smiled. She typed back, You can, Marcus. You just need to choose the right path. Every day, she put away her phone and looked out the window. Outside, the sun was beginning to set over Boston. The city was alive. People running, working, living. And she was at peace. Because Karen learned something that many people take a lifetime to understand. The true triumph isn't in defeating others. It's in defeating yourself. That night at home, Emma and Jake were doing homework at the kitchen table. Mum, Emma called, today at school, the teacher asked what we wanted to be when we grow up. And what did you answer? I said, I want to be a writer, like you. Karen felt her heart tighten. Emma, you know. Emma smiled. Mum, I saw your laptop open one day, and the name E.J. Winters. I searched and I realized it was you. Karen's eyes widened. How long have you known? About 6 months. But I didn't tell because I understood why you didn't tell us. And why didn't I tell you? Emma stood up and hugged her mother. Because you wanted us to learn that what matters isn't what you have. It's who you are. Karen hugged her daughter tightly, crying. You're so smart, my daughter. Jake looked at the two, confused. Wait, what are you talking about? Emma laughed. Jake, Mum is a famous writer. What? Karen laughed through her tears. Yes, my love, I wrote a book, and it was successful. But I kept it secret because I wanted you to grow up valuing work, not the result. Jake jumped from his chair and hugged his mother. Mum, you're incredible. Karen kissed both their heads. You two are incredible, and everything I did was for you. That night, after the children fell asleep, Karen sat on the couch with a cup of tea. She opened her laptop and began writing a new story about a woman who lost everything but found herself and taught the world that dignity doesn't need a stage. Now tell me, did you discover what the keyword of this story is? Secret keyword. Dignity. Karen didn't need to humiliate anyone. She didn't need revenge. She didn't need to prove anything. She simply existed with dignity. And that was more powerful than any wealth. Because in the end, what defines us isn't what we have. It's what we are. And when you build your life with integrity, work and love, you don't need a stage. You already are the light. life always reveals who we truly are, even when nobody's watching. Karen didn't win because she had money. She won because she never lost herself. And you? What are you building in silence? What value do you carry within you, even when no one sees? Write in the comments which lesson from this story touched your heart the most. And if you want more stories that inspire, that move, and that make you reflect on what really matters in life, subscribe now and keep binge watching, because every story here has a message, and the next one might be exactly what you need to hear today.